Hello, everyone. Welcome to CareerCon 2021. My name is Jennifer Shanks. I am a guidance counselor for the New York City Department of Education, and I am going to be your moderator today for Careers in the 21st Century. I am very excited to introduce our panelists today. First one up is Ruben Arias. Ruben?
Hi, hello. Nice to meet you guys. Thank you for having me. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Beereaders. Our company provides a digital reading comprehension platform for Spanish-speaking students. I'm very excited to be here today. Thanks. Hopefully, we'll enjoy this session.
Thank you. Next up is Peggy Lee Co.
Hi guys, I'm Peggy Lee. I am representing Palm Charter School NYC and also Palm Charter School Pasadena here in California. I'm in California now today. I am also the director and the co-owners of both schools, and we are providing the education as far as the cosmetology and also many opportunity in the different career path in the beauty industry. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Next up, we have Jeffrey DeRose.
Hi all, yes, this is Jeffrey DeRose. I'm the director at the CSI Technology Incubator. The Incubator is here to help bring entrepreneurial resources as well as technology education and technology resources to minority communities and women in both in Staten Island, New York City, and across the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Next up is Susan Fenley.
Hello, everybody. I'm the executive director of Sundog Theater. We're located in Staten Island. We do theater that is contemporary and original and also thought-provoking. We also have programs in schools where we hire teaching artists to go in to teach theater, dance, music, and visual arts in order to help the curricula come alive. We have Saturday acting classes, and we also have a touring show that tours the tri-state area with educational and historic shows. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, we have Meg Milano.
Hi, everyone. I'm Meg Milano. I'm a vice president at Hunter Public Relations, one of the leading PR firms located right on Madison Avenue. I've been in PR about 10 years now, and I would say public relations is more of a dog's breakfast. It involves reaching out to an objective reporter or producer with the facts and figures of your client, your organization, and hoping they'll have interest in sharing with their readers and viewers. And the huge difference, and this is a big one, is that it's entirely up to the journalist on what exactly gets said and when it gets said. So it's very much a relationship-based business, but it's so much more than just getting media coverage. It's events, it's celebrity engagement. It's every time you see an influencer put #ad, a publicist is the person that made that post come to life. So looking forward to talking more about it and getting everyone jazzed to work with media and celebrities. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. So we are going to get started with our first question. We are going to go to Jeffrey first. The question is, what skills do you think are needed in today's job market, and what do you predict will be needed in the next 5 years?
Thank you for that question. And that's a very great and timely question. You know, now that we're in this digital era, I think one of the top skills is learning how to code. So, you know, trying to become a software engineer, you know, becoming a master in mathematics, you know, I think those are all very important for the future. Can you actually just restate the question again, if you don't mind? I think there was a second part to it. Okay.
Yes. Absolutely. So it's what skills do you need, or what skills do you think are needed in today's job market, and what do you predict will be needed in the next 5 years?
Yeah, great. Yeah, and so for the next 5 years, I would say it's the same thing. I was actually reading a report from the World Economic Forum recently, and they were predicting that the skills that are most in demand right now are data analytics, data science, machine learning, things like that. So learning how to code is very important. And I think the future of work is really going to be decided by the people who know how to use and work with technology and those who can't. And I think you want to be on the side of those who can use technology.
That's great. Thank you so much for that. Susan, same question. What skills do you think are needed in today's job market? And what do you predict will be needed in the next 5 years?
I agree with Jeffrey in that the skills that are needed today will definitely be needed in the next 5 years. And in addition to technical skills and skills that you learn in college and trade school and graduate school, what people have termed soft skills, which are anything but soft, they're more life skills, which include communication, which is something you'll need in any profession you go into. To be a good communicator is to be a leader, is to be a follower, which is also a skill, is to be a manager. Communication is critical. Also, collaboration and teamwork is very important because you're always, even if you're in a profession that works on your own, you're going to be working with your boss, with your fellow coworkers, maybe with clients. And also creativity, which is a skill that you will need to be able to be flexible. It's something that involves listening, it involves observing, and it also involves questioning. So I think those are some of the skills that are really going to be needed now and also in the future, to be able to be flexible, because we've seen in this job market, you have to be flexible and you have to be able to, that overused word, pivot.
Absolutely. And as a high school guidance counselor, I 100% agree with all of that. And our last panelist for this question is going to be Megan Milano. What skills do you think are needed in today's job market, and what do you predict will be needed in the next 5 years?
So right off the bat, I immediately agree with Susan. The soft skills are so key. And they are skills because not everyone knows that they're necessary. So just showing up on time, asking questions, bringing enthusiasm to the table are all going to be things that are going to set you apart from equally qualified candidates, and it might very well be the thing that gives you a little edge when you're being sized up against other potential candidates for a position or an internship. So just showing up with a smile is definitely worth something. In terms of skills for the next 5 years, I agree with what my fellow panelist Jeffrey just said. Everything is going online. Everything is getting technical. Even from the past few years in the public relations and marketing world, even the past year with COVID, celebrities aren't accepting packages no more from brands. So we have to figure out other ways that we can engage with them that aren't maybe tactile. And instead, maybe it's just social media pushes instead. So I would continue to always be up to date on the latest social media software tools. Definitely, in general, just always be a student to the game and keep learning regardless of your level. That in and of itself is also a skill too.
That's great. Thank you all so much for all of your input. So we are going to go over to the second question now, which is, how has your industry changed in the past year? What do you predict will happen in the next few years? Ruben, we are going to start with you with this question.
Okay, well, I've been in technology for education for 10 years, and nothing accelerated changes as fast as COVID has done last year. So the first change I've seen is that, of course, everything is going online. In person is not part of the conversation anymore, at least for this year. So teachers and students and families are requiring new things, new ways to learn, to teach. And that's something that opens a lot of opportunities for companies like ours. Another interesting thing I've seen changing in the last couple of years is that first, it was all about access to new resources in education, new content or quality content or new methodologies for students and for educators to engage with education. But now it's also about engagement. It's not only access. So I've seen a lot of companies doing great job in a combination of the best of two worlds, Harvard and Hollywood. So they are trying to make amazing products for students, for educators. That's something very exciting. I predict that in the next a couple of years, we'll start seeing more and more of that. And that's something very exciting for entrepreneurs that maybe want to be part of this kind of revolution, I would say.
That's great. Thank you so much for your input. Susan, we are going to go to you for this question. How has your industry changed in the past year, the past 3 to 5 years, and what do you predict will happen in the next few years?
I think that my industry, especially in the past year, has changed quite a bit. The artists have been the hardest hit, even harder than the restaurant industry. They have had to rely on other skills that they have. A lot of them have other artistic skills. Some of them teach, some of them create other things. Some of them can manage, some of them can work in hospitality. So I would suggest to people to be if you're doing an internship or a job or even a volunteer position, learn everything that you possibly can about that, because you never know when you might have to use those skills, whether it's directly those skills or those ancillary skills you learn in doing whatever it is that you're asked to do as an intern, a volunteer, or your first kind of job. And I think in the next few years, competition is going to be fierce. I think creativity, I think thinking on your feet, flexibility, perseverance is going to be really, really important, because it's not just doing something once. You have to keep doing it until you think it's right. It's not just one of these one and done things. But I think that perseverance for sure, and don't give up.
That's great. Thank you. Flexibility is definitely key. We're going to go to Peggy Lee. Same question.
Okay, thank you. I believe beauty industry has been, we are one of the oldest industry in the world, traced back to 4000 BC, as you guys know, back to the Egyptian, where they used plant-based to work on their eye makeup. So there's a lot of things in the beauty industry that is definitely the creativity, just like what Susan said, it's definitely going to stay. Absolutely, there will be things that is actually changes as far as the trending. I like that, fast forward to where we are now. We are definitely moving toward the plant-based for every single thing. So having the knowledge in that, because people become more conscious about environmental. And I think this is definitely a great direction. Every single company truly focus on that. And with the economy, that's shift, and the mindset of the people is also changed, especially during pandemic. This is actually something that has been happening because I think you guys kind of hear what they call millennial era, where people value more of their personal, and having that balance. So with that, for our industry, we see a lot of places that the salon actually becomes smaller, and it's a lot more of doing a lot of application that they can make an appointment online. So it's a lot of shift. And on the education side, absolutely the digital play the significant role, especially last year. And I see that, I predict that it's not going to be a trend, but it's going to be something that here to stay for 3 to 5 years and beyond. So
Absolutely. Thank you. And Megan, we are going to ask you the same question. How has your industry changed in the past year, and what do you predict will happen in the next few years?
So it's definitely been an interesting year. No one could have predicted a global pandemic would be throwing a wrench into everyone's plans, but it certainly made people innovate and change for the good. We know now consumers don't necessarily want to go to brand events or experiences. If there's a health concern, we know that celebrities aren't necessarily open to meeting with brands or accepting their packages. I think a lot of brands have made the smart pivot to make sure that whatever they are doing, it's helping whatever's going on in the cultural zeitgeist. So you probably see more than ever, brands are, putting their stake in the ground and giving a definitive opinion on matters such as racial injustice, or putting together promotions, giveaways, contests, et cetera, that benefit healthcare workers, because we all know, they're one of the most underthanked and overworked professions out there. So I feel like that's definitely made the marketing world change. Consumers want to see brands have an opinion, fight for what's good. And you see a lot of brands make mistakes. Chick-fil-A is one that always comes up to my mind, because they have differing views on the LGBTQ community that are opposite of what the general consensus is. And they've suffered for that. So I think brands have had to absolutely adapt the past few years, especially with COVID. And I will say, moving forward, influencer engagement is something that's absolutely going to continue to evolve. We see people like David Dobrik's, Logan Pauls of the world getting paid upwards of 50 to 100 grand for a social post. I don't think that's going away necessarily, but I think what we'll see is more micro influencers will start to rise up and gain prominence, because they're not just more affordable for brands, but they have way better engagement for consumers. And that's something that we're always on the lookout for. So I think the influencer bubble will be bursting, but it won't be a complete burst, because it'll just, instead going from the top down, we're going to see more of a grassroots work that's coming out from brands. So that's probably the one thing that'll also be very much evolving over the next few years.
It's so interesting. Thank you all so much. So we're going to go to our third question now. Jeffrey, you are going to be up first. What new career paths or industries do you see emerging or growing in the future?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, just to bring it back to technology, once again, data analytics, data science, artificial intelligence, all those fields are going to be ripe for growth. And, and we're seeing it with like the companies, right? So some of the largest companies in the world right now are all technology companies, all doing advanced work in artificial intelligence, machine learning, right? The Microsofts, the IBMs, Accentures, et cetera, of the world. Also, fields like business development, digital marketing, et cetera. Those fields are also going to be very relevant. Just to tackle, because you guys brought up soft skills earlier, right? People who can sell brands, people who can come up with creative campaigns, people who can, leverage social media to, bring rapid user growth or consumer growth to different brands. I think those are some of the areas that we're going to see really big demand for employment. Digital marketing, business development, AI, data analytics, et cetera.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. Peggy, same question. What career paths or industries do you see emerging or growing in the near future?
To me, I feel the same. I feel that technology is it's going to it's going to be here to stay. And speaking on behalf of the beauty industry here, we have a lot of creative people that I know that my educators, some of them very struggle when we have to go online and do everything, or even when this is actually luckily happened before we turn our program to be all digital, meaning, we use iPad instead of books. But I know that this is definitely, I see the development will go further. And, we were one of those company that starting doing everything that is online with the distant education. And like I said before, this is definitely not going to go away, but the development is going to be there for us. Always the question where when it comes to hands-on, practical, how we actually do that online. And, we have been doing quite a bit of development over the year. And, for us being in, have one of the campus in California, or even, one in New York, we have to close the facility, and doing this online is actually force us to develop something that be able to connect with, with our student, and also, just really truly get them the education that they need when they allow to get back to the school. But to me, I also feel that what I have been seeing, or in our organization itself, basically we give opportunities for people to be able to work remotely. Just we have the team that is actually working from Texas or Minnesota. The same thing, for New York, we have the team in Los Angeles is actually working remote. So definitely, I think it's truly opened up a lot of opportunities for the career market here. So the limitation is getting smaller, and I think that's very exciting for for people that are still wanting to be in their home base, but want to work in a company that maybe is it's in Los Angeles or or elsewhere.
It is very exciting. So question 4, we are going to go to Susan first. And the question is, what are some ways that people in your industry are making a difference in the world?
I think especially now, people in my industry, especially I know my organization, Sundog Theater, we have teaching artists that go into schools. And just as an example, teaching theater, you can change a child's life by teaching them how to really observe and see something. This is theater, this is art, this is dance, music. You see it, you observe it, you ask questions about it, and you can understand it. And then you're able to do it and to imagine what could be. And skills like that, again, the quote, soft skills, are so inherent in the arts. When you do project-based learning, which is applying what you learn through the arts, that's the way a child or an adult is able to then take the learning that they've absorbed and then actually do something with it. So it means something. It's not just you're learning dates or you're learning figures or whatever. Do something with those figures. You can build a building with math. You can create something with something that you've learned. So if you teach them how it applies, it's really, really important for them to learn that. And I think that the arts really, really do that in schools. I know the arts in my life changed my life. So I'd like to see, and I do see that every day with kids and teenagers, and as well as the arts in schools. We've started to do something different for us. We're taking improv classes into businesses and helping teach the businesses how to listen, really listen to each other and really respond and really be able to turn on a dime and reflect what they've heard and to really help people with that. I think that skill is, the improvisation skill is pretty much good for every profession.
I absolutely agree. Thank you, Susan. Ruben, we are going to ask you the same question. What are some of the ways people from your industry are making a difference in the world?
Well, following the same train of thought as Susan, definitely education is all about changing lives. So I've seen a lot of new initiatives, new companies, including ourselves, of course, doing something for special populations, diversity, other languages, trying to include students in a better future. That's something that I totally agree with what Susan just said. I think it's important to mention that who may be attending this session and wants to be part of this movement in education, there's a lot of things you can do today. Remember that we were all students once. Think of the things that you didn't like when you were a student, and how would you like them to be in the future for other students? I think that's the best way to change and to propose a different, new, better world for everyone. In our particular case, we're working with Spanish-speaking students in the US and in Latin America, helping them to read better and to read more. And just with that, helping them to read more, we have seen a lot of improvement in their quality of their education. That's something that we're very proud of, but we are also looking forward to have a deeper impact with more and more students in the near future, for sure.
Great, thank you. And we are going to go to Jeffrey for the same question. What are some of the ways that the people from your industry are making a difference in the world?
Thank you. Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm very fortunate with my position at the Incubator. My entire life is just dedicated to helping people and helping people build their businesses, helping people learn technology, help people learn entrepreneurship. So I think institutions like incubator programs, accelerator programs are playing a real vital role in helping local businesses, students, and entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs, get the skills and resources they need to get to wherever they want to get to, whether that's, getting, transitioning out of, your traditional corporate job into a tech role, helping people build and scale their businesses, and also just bringing vital resources to minority communities. I know there's a lot of organizations like mine that's very focused on minority communities, women, low-income neighborhoods, low-income communities. And if we could help drive economic change and economic advancement for the people at the bottom, I think that means a lot more opportunity, a lot more productive members of society, and just more so improving poverty rates and improving the rates that people are starting businesses, improving income rates, etc. So yeah, very, very proud to be doing this work, and I know that the counterparts in my industry are also doing great things to help people.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And Peggy Lee, we are going to go to you as our last panelist for this question.
Thank you. Yeah, I love how Ruben said education changed lives, and I think he said it beautifully, and I truly believe in that as well. So the beauty industry, a lot of time people look at it in a way where, of course, sometimes you don't you get to go to college, and that's why this is the industry that you just end up with. But I can say that 10 out of 10 my students is here because of their passion and love for the industry, and we have done so much of giving back. I think is a way of life in our organization, and truly it's I believe strongly that nobody wants to do business with any organization that is not have that or show that generosity anymore. So what I wanted to say is that aside from we are more concerned about environmental or being cruelty free, we also doing a lot of giving back in anywhere that we are actually being present. Either we do homeless initiative, we go out there and cut hair for lower income people, and truly on all to bring it home. I love what Jeff said as well, because we're the organization where what we call we have the hashtag movement right now is the UMPS1, meaning all side fits all here in our organization. Everybody that being a part of the school, they can be themselves regardless of their background and where they came from, and they can thrive in this world and embrace who they are. And that's something that we truly proud of, and we're just so happy. I've been doing this for almost 20 years. I'm still excited to see the transformation of people that stepping in into this industry, and then became successful entrepreneurs. So
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing. I did not know Paul Mitchell did that. Okay, so we are going to go over to our last question of the day. We're going to begin with Ruben. What is the best resource for students who want to learn more? And what can students do now if they're interested in your field?
Well, I always remember when you just start the school, teachers are obsessed with kids learning to read. But I would say that after that, it's all about reading to learn. That's something that is it's always in my mind, and it's the kind of motivation that we have here at Beereaders. I would say the same recommendation. Keep reading, read as many different topics, genres you can. Another important aspect is learning to learn. That's something that with the content we have today available everywhere over the internet, you need to be very careful with the criteria you're using to decide what kind of content is better than another one. So yeah, I would say those two recommendations: read as much as you can, and then learn to learn. And I'm sure that that's going to be helpful for the audience. If you want to, I don't know, keep talking about our company and what we do and how we do it and how we help educators and students with their Spanish reading comprehension, I'm happy to connect afterwards.
That's amazing. Thank you. We're going to go over to Megan now. What are the best resources for students who want to learn more, and what can students do now if they're interested in your field?
So I would actually say that some of the best resources are the ones that are sitting under the same roof as you, well, when we used to be physically in school, but your guidance counselors and your college counselors are going to be your biggest resource for you when it comes to trying to get into the career of your choice. They most likely know the people that can help get you connected to someone else. It's how I got my first PR internship, by volunteering one of my free periods with my college counselor. So definitely be friendly, ask questions, because you can lean on them for a lot. And I would also say, once you're in college, get an internship. Most of them are unpaid, but the wealth of experience you get more than makes up for it. At least in marketing, finance, and other sectors, they might be paid, but an internship is about getting the experience so you can get a leg up on the other candidates that are applying for the same jobs as you. So absolutely make sure you get an internship. And I'm also happy to answer any questions directly if anyone who's watching this had questions about marketing in general. So.
Amazing. Thank you. Yes, use our guidance counselors when you need them. We are going to go now to Susan. Same question. What is the best resource for students who want to learn more, and what can students do now if they're interested in your field?
I totally agree with Ruben in learning to learn and loving to learn as well. That's really important. And Megan's advice about internships, so important to take those internships, even if it's an internship that you might not think you like, you're going to learn something from it. You will definitely learn something from it. I think in my industry, if you took a theater class, and they have theater classes in all the high schools and all of the colleges and even outside, or get in a show, you'll learn so many of those skills we were talking about before with collaboration, teamwork, perseverance, critical thinking, communication, speaking in public. That's a really, really important skill to have, because without that skill, in terms of jobs and even asking for a date, there are so many things that that you will miss if you aren't comfortable speaking in public. So I would say that the more that you do that, probably the better off you are. And in terms of getting involved in my industry, take a class, take a dance class, an art class, and all schools have these. Even go to a cultural center in your town and take one of those classes. Get in a theater show. And they're looking for kids all over the place to get in shows, because there are not a lot of kids who are really involved in local theater sometimes. And you know what? Work really hard. Help people. Use your skills and your knowledge. Give those to other people. That will not only help you as a person, but it will also help other people around you, and they will remember you. You don't have to impress them, but if you help them and you assist them, that's the best way to network with people. That's the best way to collaborate with people, and that's the best way to be remembered. And that's the advice I have.
That's great. Thank you so much. And we're going to go over to Peggy Lee now. Same question.
Yes, thank you. To me, well, Google is always great. Google is always a library for me, to be honest. But we are here also to be the resource for anybody that interested to enter into the beauty industry. I'll be happy to answer and guide anyone, and just truly help navigate what would be a good first step. For our industry specifically, we always coach our student to don't be afraid to connect with mentors. And when they seeing that, a lot of time when they see mentors that it's on Instagram and all this, and they might be thinking that they might not have the time to answer the question. I have an honor and privilege to work with a lot of top speakers and and mentors in the industry, and believe it or not, they love to get those kind of questions, or they would love to mentor people that wanting to get into the industry. So I would say don't be afraid to go to the right, that's the best resource right there. If you see someone that you're passionate about and wanting to become, understand their path and, just learn how they become successful, just go ahead and contact them directly. Absolutely, that's one of the things that I will absolutely encourage everyone to do.
That's great. Thank you. And Jeffrey, we are going to finish this question with your response, please.
Yes, sure. Everyone gave such great responses. So I just want to maybe piggyback off of Peggy with Google. I think Google is the best educational resource out there. Also, if you want to get into coding, you want to get into tech, I think there's so much out there. There's Coursera.org, there's Udemy.com, there's all kind of coding boot camps. And actually the coding boot camps, if you get started with no money down, don't quote me on this, but a lot of them, you can get started for free and you don't have to pay them back until you get a job, or at least, for the first year or something like that. So some of the top coding schools are Galvanize, Flatiron School, and General Assembly for anyone that wants to learn how to code, how to do UI, UX design, how to do project management. They have all kind of courses, data science, data analytics, they have all kind of courses for that. And just to piggyback off what some of you guys said before too, just learning how to learn. I am so big on self-education, and I think I've just learned more through books and documentaries than really through anything else. And I think learning how to learn, enjoying learning, developing that muscle is just so crucial to being successful going forward. And I think success in the future is going to be more about what can you produce, what can you bring to the table, so going out and picking up some skills that are of value to employers is definitely the way to go. And you could always, we're in this time now where you can teach yourself anything you want. You can go online for resources, you can go to college, you can go do boot camps, so all the information is out there. You just got to go out and get it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, we are going to go over back to question 3 for a minute, and we are going to ask Megan, what career paths or industries do you see emerging or growing in the near future?
Yeah, so I head up the intern outreach committee at my firm, and something that always comes up in conversations is, a lot of people are aware that marketing, public relations, you need to talk, and you need to enjoy talking and meeting new people. And sometimes that's a barrier. Not everyone's comfortable doing that, or they could be a little introverted. And I would say one thing that's definitely coming out of the marketing sector is we're leaning very heavily into data and insights. So if you are comfortable looking at numbers, finding that tension that consumers are having, because again, marketing is all about what this tension is and what we can solve with this brand for consumers. So data and insights is going to be huge for the next few years, because I think everything that brands are doing are going to want to be based in insights. So if that's something that you're interested in, can definitely do that in marketing. You can do it across the board. I'm sure even other industries are using data for consumer sentiment as well. But data and insights, NetBase, Quid, Cision, Meltwater, any of those software tools, again, would get you a lot of places. It would certainly, again, give you an edge over one candidate versus another.
That's great. Thank you so much. We're going to go over to Jeff for question 2. How has your industry changed in the past year, the past 3 to 5 years, and what do you predict will happen in the next few years?
Yeah, great question. So at the Incubator, we are a public institution. So, not too much technology is involved. People are still doing timesheets by paper, things I'm not used to. But yeah, in the past year, COVID has forced us to go digital. People have been forced to learn new skills. I mean, people may not be learning how to code, right? But you got to learn how to use Slack. You got to learn how to use G Suite or Office 365. You got to learn how to collaborate with documents. So, the COVID has definitely forced us to become more digital and think about how can we collaborate better remotely, and how do we upskill maybe some of the older team members or maybe the non-technical team members to get them up to par to use these more modern technology products to have a more efficient team and get them whatever objectives need to be accomplished. And I would say that's the biggest thing, and I would say what we do as an incubator, I would say maybe compared to like a few years ago, I think there's just so much more demand for what we offer. We offer different resources for entrepreneurs. We offer mentoring for tech entrepreneurs. We make venture capital investor introductions, things like that. So I would say the pandemic has also just really ramped up demand for our services and the different resources we offer. And it's been great, right? Because it's not too many places where you can get this kind of resources for free. So yeah, of course it's been challenging, but I would say this push into becoming a more digital institution has been great and has allowed us to scale and be more efficient and just get more things done in this digital environment.
That's great. Thank you so much. Okay, so any last words from any of our panelists before we close out for the day?
I'd like to say something.
Yeah.
These life skills that I've been talking about and that we've all been talking about that are so important to have, you may have them or you may think you have them. I would do a check on that. Ask a teacher, ask a boss, ask your mom. Are you a hard worker? Are you a team player? Do you have perseverance? And get somebody else's input too, so that's not just your own. You're not operating in a bubble. And my last word of advice would just be to work as hard as you possibly can. The hard worker is the successful worker. I firmly believe that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Peggy Lee, last words?
Yes, I would have to, well, first of all, I want to thank this, your organization. This is really amazing. I love the panel. I learned so much just listening to you guys, and it's great. And I would love to see more and more of organization doing something like this, because I believe that it's just so important to understand. This is something that help with the direction for students, or and to get into the college, or getting into the next step of their career, to truly understand what kind of education that they need to be successful in whatever their passion may be. A lot of time for us in the beauty industry, and as far as the cosmetology school, home mature school, time and time again, when we do presentation in high school, people only think that coming to the beauty school, you only going to be working in the salon or barber shop. But we have just more broad as far as the career path. We have graduates that doing movies, doing television. We have graduates that go into like product development and in sales and executive, or also we have 50% of my team is actually also like in education, is also homegrown. And, or some of them will be able to have their own product line. So I would have to say opportunity is actually endless. So whatever your heart desire when it comes to wanting to, get into a certain career path, I would have to say that, do the research and do a little bit, dig deeper. So at least because, education is a foundation, and, and it's really the key for, your success. And it's definitely, you want to be in a place where, you're going to have a lifelong happiness, in the career that you do. So I wish, everyone will get into the right education, like the right college, and and be successful and be happy.
Thank you, Peggy Lee. We're going to go over to Megan for some last words.
I would say just remember, no one's going to give it to you. You got to go out there and get it yourself. Don't assume that mom and dad know someone to get you a job or an internship. Be comfortable in that you will have to ask strangers to help get you where you need to be. No one goes at it alone. So, go to your college counselor and ask if they know anyone that could help with an internship. Eventually when you're in college, feel like you can go to your professor and ask if they know someone that can help you get their first job, which is exactly what I did. And then 10 years later, I'm still in the same field. So I think that's the first biggest thing, is realizing that no one's going to give it to you. You got to go out there and get it yourself. Something that we've been talking about a lot is always be a student to the game, always be willing to learn new things. And I would say, again, just showing up. There is so much power in just showing up. I can't tell you how many times we'll start a new internship at my firm and, 2 out of the 20 people don't show up. It's just, why go through all that trouble to try to get an internship and then not show up? So there is a lot of power in just making sure you're there on time with a smile and with enthusiasm. That's going to get you very far in life. It got me very far. So that would be my best advice for anyone listening.
Absolutely agree. Thank you. And last, we are going to go to Jeffrey for some last words.
Yes, just first and foremost, thank you all for having me, and thank you to the co-panelists. I think you guys all come with a great wealth of experience and gave some great knowledge and advice that I will personally be using. Just some last words. Just want to encourage you all to just once again, don't be afraid to self-educate. There's a lot of power in self-education. You'll find that what might take you 4 years to learn, you might learn in a few months just learning it on your own. I also want to say, don't be afraid to be ambitious. Go after your dreams, go after what you want to do, whatever you want to accomplish. There's no dream that's too big. As long as you're willing to put in the work, master the craft, and pay your dues, you can make it in any field. So just want to encourage you guys once again, just self-educate, do well in school, be ambitious. If you shoot for the stars and end up on the moon, that's okay, and yeah, just good luck to everybody in their careers. And if anyone wants to connect with the incubator, feel free to reach out to me. The incubator's website is www.csidtechincubator.com. If you guys want to get into entrepreneurship, you want to get some advice on how to build a career in coding, you want to get access to some mentor resources or entrepreneur resources, we have all that available. So just reach out if you guys need anything.
Amazing. Thank you all so much. So I want to thank everyone for being here today. Again, my name is Jennifer Shanks. I am a guidance counselor for the New York City Department of Education. Thank you for tuning in. Our panelists were fantastic. And thank you. And I hope that you enjoy CareerCon 2021.